Hello to my friends at Bell Trace. And if you're not at Bell Trace and watching this on YouTube, you're welcome to watch it as well. Just be aware I'm orienting this towards my friends at Bell Trace. Tonight, our Saturday Night at the Movies film is Oh God, starring George Burns as the title role and John Denver as the person that God speaks to. But in addition to these two stars, there's another person who I think is worthy of mention, and that is Paul Sorvino. This is the first film that I remember seeing Paul Sorvino in, and he plays a televangelist, as you'll see here.
The Bible tells us that God knows the falling of a sparrow and the depth of a pocket, and that is what I'm talking about. Amen. Come up, brothers and sisters, and put in our hands what you would put in God's hands, and he will have the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Thank you very much. May the Lord bless and keep you. It's so good to see you. Thank you. You can put that right. Yes. Thank you very much. God bless you. May the Lord also bless you and keep you. It's so good to see you. Thank you. Please keep moving. Reverend Williams. Well, that's all right. That's all right. This man is doing to me. What are you doing here?
God sent me to you.
One moment. One moment. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this is the young man who has used so much energy to convince everyone that he has seen God. Now wait. Would you repeat what you just said to me?
God sent me to you.
God sent him to me. Are you certain of that?
Yes, I just left him. He wanted me to give you these answers to all of those questions.
God specified me?
Yes. And he also asked me to tell you that he's very unhappy.
God is very unhappy.
Yes, he's unhappy that you're getting rich this way, and that he'd like you to stop pretending that you're spreading his word. In fact, he suggested that you sell shoes.
Jesse!
Well, that's what he said! You're a thief!
This poor boy is ill. Get him out of here!
Paul Sorvino would pop up again and again in my experience on television and in films. One of the things I remember him from, and you may remember as well, if you're like many people who watched television in the late 20th century, he was in the second season of the very long-running Law and Order series. While he was only on the series for about 1 year, he is credited with being one of the ones who set the tone for the rest of the series, and indeed many of the spin-offs. Here's a brief clip. In addition to this, if you're like me, you became a Trekkie at some point in your life, and I was thrilled to see Paul Sorvino show up in a very pivotal guest starring role. He was the brother of a Klingon, even though he's not a Klingon. Such is the power and the range of Paul Sorvino that he could be the brother of a Klingon without being a Klingon. Here's a brief clip of that.
Captain, you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
We've got a problem, sir. I don't think it's going to be possible to keep this holodeck simulation stable.
Why not?
Plasmonic energy bursts from the planet are affecting the ship's systems. We're having problems with the EPS systems and the power distribution matrix.
And as a result, the holodeck imaging processor has been severely destabilized.
It's not a question of whether the simulation will break down. It's a question of when.
There's no way around it?
Not while it's running. In order to fix it, I'd have to shut down all of the holodecks and reinitialize the entire system.
That will take hours.
We'll just have to hope the simulation holds long enough.
Very well, let's try it. Miss LaForge, I want you to monitor this situation very carefully and keep an open comlink with the holodeck so as to be apprised of any problems.
Aye, sir.
Captain, I'll return to the holodeck as soon as my surgical alterations are completed, and I'll prepare the Borallans for their journey.
Considering the situation you have put us in, I don't think it's wise to leave you alone with those people. Mr. Worf will accompany you.
Sir, perhaps someone else would be a better choice. Councillor Troy is familiar
Mr.
with...
Worf, the Barallans already know you. There's no need to introduce them to anyone new.
Aye, sir.
There is a place far from here where there are no storms. It will be a difficult journey, but in the end, we will have a new home.
I know a way through the caves. We will travel safely until we return to the surface.
Where is this new land?
As we said, it is far from here. It will not be like the home you knew. Even the stars may be different.
Why would they be different? And how do you know we'll be safe there?
My brother is a seer. If he says we'll be safe, you must trust that we will be safe.
His role is credited with adding a good deal of humanity into the character of the Klingon Worf. Perhaps the best known role for Paul Sorvino is his role from Goodfellas, which here at Beltrace we saw about a month and a half ago. And in this scene that I'm going to show you, it shows also Ray Liotta, who also recently passed away. And we were doing a Ray Liotta festival, and here's a clip of that. Warning, there is a little bit of language.
I don't want any more of that shit.
What shit? What are you talking about?
Just stay away from the garbage, you know what I mean?
What, Paulie?
I'm not talking about what you did inside. You did what you had to do. I'm talking about now. From now, here and now.
Paulie, why would I want to get into that?
Don't make a jerk out of me. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. I want to talk to you about Jimmy. You gotta watch out for him. He's a good earner, but he's wild. Takes too many chances.
No, I know that. I know Jimmy. You think I would take chances like Jimmy?
And Tommy, he's a good kid too, but he's crazy. He's a cowboy. He's got too much to prove.
No, I know.
You gotta watch out for kids like this.
Yeah, I know what they are. I only use them for certain things. So
Listen,
leave me. You don't have
I
to
ain't
worry.
gonna get fucked like Gribbs. You understand? Gribbs is 70 years old and the fucking guy's gonna die in prison. I don't need that. So I'm warning everybody. Everybody. Could be my son, could be anybody. Gribbs got 20 years just for saying hello to some fucker who was sneaking behind his back selling junk. I don't need that. Ain't gonna happen to me. You understand?
Uh-huh.
You know that you're only out early because I got you a job.
Yeah.
And I don't need this heat. Understand that?
Uh-huh.
And you see anybody fucking around with this shit, you're gonna tell me, right?
Yeah.
That means anybody.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I have heard that part of this scene is that Ray Liotta did not realize that Paul Sorvino was going to actually physically slap him. Such is the interesting way in which people interpret their roles. But this was probably the primary role for which Paul Sorvino will be remembered, and that set him in the pantheon of the Mafia, Godfather, Goodfellas, other kinds of shows like that. In fact, one of his last roles was in another very similar role. Apart from all of this, one of the things that he is known for is as a singer. He did possess quite a powerful voice. And here's a clip of him singing Danny Boy.
The pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must hide. Where can we back when summer's in the meadow, where all the valleys flush and white with snow. It's I'll be in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. If I am dead
come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear the soft new tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be.
I was fortunate enough to get to know Paul Sorvino just a bit through the Pixels in the last year and a half as I connected with his wife, Dee Dee Sorvino. Dee Dee is an Indiana native. She is someone who worked in the White House during George W. Bush's time. She's someone who has been involved in media and in a lot of different ways, including being a published author with her husband, Paul. And I was very fortunate to connect with Dee Dee to produce a video for my classes at Ivy Tech. And that led to being part of a podcast in which Paul Sorvino showed up quite a number of times. Here's a brief clip from one of those times.
I don't get the Italian. I don't,
Of course not.
I know, but I really don't
You're
understand.
not Italian.
I know, but I don't understand the jokes. They're not funny. None of them are funny. Zip, zero, whatever.
You have to understand
Dr. Kerr,
to make that accusation.
Holy Father, Dr. Kerr, the wise one, he was being nice and laughing, but it was not funny. I love you, but it's not funny. It's not your joke, so I don't feel like I'm insulting you. I'm insulting the person who put that joke together.
This
it's
one
not
he'll
funny.
like.
Okay,
Hold.
I hope.
Why do Italians hate Jehovah's Witnesses?
I don't know. Tell me why.
They hate all witnesses.
Okay, that's pretty good.
See, now that's funny. That's funny. So as we watch the movie tonight, pay attention for Paul Sorvino and keep a good thought and a prayer for Paul, for Paul's family, for Dee Dee, his wife, and for all the fans who will continue to enjoy Paul Sorvino's work as we are blessed in our current technological age to have much with which we can remember him. Farewell, Paul Sorvino.